Everyone, can you see my slide?
Yes, I can.
Good. Welcome to the show this morning. This is Global Recovery Management System, packaging you for the place of your best fit in recovery management. This program is being organized by Saba Resources Intervention Hub in collaboration with National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as we together, through cross-pollination, battered the GRMS. And what is the GRMS? Global Recovery Management Systems. It's a system because it is something that is needed and necessary to route a common problems all over the universe. And what is the common problem in the universe? It is the problem of relapses across board. Relapses all over the world, relapses in Africa, relapses in Nigeria, relapses everywhere. Over 80% of people who come out of the rehabilitation programs come down in relapses. They fall back to their initial malady, and there the circles continue again. Stakeholders are tired, parents are tired, clients and inmates are tired. And as if there is no solution. But Global Recovery Management System is one critical solution that has come to stay. And we give God Almighty thanks for making it a solution that we are taking around Nigeria in a short while, taking around Africa, and benchmarking the solution everywhere. So welcome to the show. We are starting a 3-month curriculum with 3 sessions per week. We had an introductory session yesterday, and today we are having the full course. So it's going to be 2 in 1 today. We will handle this session we didn't do yesterday to this session. So 2 sessions in 1. So various lessons were learned yesterday about recovery management. Like I did say, this is a 3-month professional training program to equip certified recovery managers and recovery stakeholders. Who are the people in recovery stakeholding? The families, the parents, people in the rehab, either as staff or as clients, the society, recovery managers being trained, and everyone who delights in the business of recovery are all stakeholders. Everybody in the society is a stakeholder when it comes to recovery management, because what affects one member of the family is affecting every other member of the family. My name is Dr. James Komolafe, the Global Lead Advisor of Global Recovery Management System. And we are being empowered by National Drug Law Agency NDLEA to superintend over this work and to do justice to this question so that ultimately we can harmoniously route the issues of recovery management. This is week 1 of this session, and we are going to handle the recovery management revolution. Recovery management revolution is the word. Why are we considering revolution? Relapse had been an age-long revolution and a solution as well. So to combat an ongoing resolution that has become a revolutionary trend, we need to step up our game and face it with a counter-revolution. There's a revolutionary darkness in psychosocial ecosystem where people go through treatment and therapy, even in the physical issues to medical health and the rest. People go through the hospital and they come back with the same malady, not abating. Or some have treatment, and to some other reasons, people don't know what it means to manage recovery. So they fall back. So the need for a revolution at such a time like this cannot be overemphasized, given the plethora of maladies, negativities that are happening across board. And so at this hour, I would like to structure the first 2 sessions as a teaching-ready module for everyone who is in the recovery harem. So, from rehabilitation to recovery management. That is the theme. Understanding the cause. First cause in the training is understanding recovery management. Supposed to have taken this yesterday, but we'll join it with that of today within this specific time we have. And there are lesson notes for all of this course for everyone who belongs to Global Recovery Management System. So there's no excuse for us. Learn from the horse's mouth, live and direct, online, offline, on-site, and then take notes. I like to advise everybody, the note you take yourself is pivotal because it stays glued to you as a learner. And then the note you now collect and read will make the lesson sink in. So you can take your own note in a highlight in your own way. Very, very pivotal. So what are we saying? It is very pivotal for you to take your own note and then enjoy this session as well. What is recovery? Let's start from there. When you don't understand recovery management, when you don't understand recovery, there's no how you can go about talking about managing recovery. So what is recovery? Listen to a global definition of what recovery is. Recovery is the ongoing process through which a person moves from active substance-related health, stability, responsibility, functioning, meaningful relationship, purpose, and productive participation in the society. I say it again. Recovery is the ongoing process through which a person moves from active substance-related problems towards sustained health, stability, responsible functioning, meaningful relationship, purpose, and productive participation in society. Can you see? So recovery is not an event. It's a collectivization of events from what? Active substance-related problems that has caused some certain damages in the psychosocial health, substance-related problem, you move away from it to a sustained health. And you are moving towards stability, not just sobriety. I've had on various occasions, people said, oh, I'm now sober. I'm sober for 3 months. I'm sober for 6 months. Beyond sobriety, you need stability. Responsible functionality, meaningful relationship, and purpose and productive participation in the society. So recovery is never complete until there's participation in the society, not just in the family. Why? Recovery hooks and harps on gaps, loophole, and vacuum. That's why you see there was no breach in that sentence, no break. One sentence. Very critical. One sentence. Because if you create gap, then you find issues there. So in recovery management, you just must understand the rule where you don't allow for gaps. And that's why we emphasize at the training center that once you begin a journey in recovery, you must not let down. There should be no pause. People must follow you. Parents must understand and follow through. So what is recovery? Recovery is therefore more than stopping substance abuse or substance use. It's more than it. It's more than, oh, my boy is out of the rehab now, he has recovered. No, that is being economical with the truth. Recovery is not a one event. Oh, this boy now behaves well. This boy now behaves well, so my boy is son. Let him go back to school. No. Psychosocial illness don't work that way. Recovery managers in-house, online, and wherever you are hearing me from or playing this video, I want you to know that medical malfeasances is not the same as behavioral or psychosocial malfeasances. When it comes to psychosocial health and wholeness, it drags over time. So somebody is in addiction, for example, you can't just cancel one off and say the boy is fine. Somebody taking to drugs, you can't just cancel one off and say he has made up his mind that he won't go back to drugs again. No, because for even the drug thing to be discovered, that guy has gone far. It wasn't a day's job. So to all of you who are critical stakeholders in managing people, know for sure that any habit you see, for the fact that you can see it means it has built up over time. So no more surface canceling in dealing with human beings, whether the youth demographic, the adult demographic, the aged demography, the adolescents, the teens, you must know that whatever comes to the fore has a basic root, an underpinning root that you should not shove aside. Very critical. So that's why the job of a recovery manager is both an art and a science. You don't know the science, you can't do the art. So things drag over time. when it comes to psychosocial health, mental health, behavioral health, behavior is not built in one day. It's a collectivization of your feelings, your emotions, your passions, your imagination built up over time in your inside as an individual. And then when a man begins to express it out, it has taken root. You won't see a stem standing on the topsoil without the root in the ground. Exactly. That is what happens in addictive behavior. Even some certain habits that have become a die-hard situation also behaves like that. So one-off counseling will not do the work. So we need to help parents. We need to show parents to say, hey, for you to be reporting your son to me now means there is a basic underpinning in this child for a while that we are not even aware of. So that's why I'm encouraging every one of you taking the course in recovery management to also go ahead to take a course in therapy. You can't be a coach in recovery management and not be a therapist as well, because the essence of coaching is to show people what is going on, what is happening, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to help them to just see through, to understand. But how do they walk away? How do they gain sobriety and become stable? How do they become sufficient in their new realization and to begin to track success and then significance? Is the work of a therapist. So recovery managers in training, one thing to know, it's another thing to flow with that realm of knowledge you are acquiring now in order to help somebody to know and then to flow with the same. So you must become a therapist. So recovery is therefore more than just stopping the substance use. A person may stop using substance but still struggle with emotional instability, damaged relationship, poor decision-making, unemployment, social isolation, or vulnerability to relapse. So recovery addresses the whole person and the person's ability to live successfully after treatment. Why? Because there are triggers waiting for him at home. It could be from his wife. It could be from his firstborn. It could be from a close relation who he is feeding at home. I say, can you see? Can you see? When will you be tired of this? And because people don't know, they use odd languages. Parents do that a huge lot. Say, I'm going to tell John a piece of my mind this morning. John, come and sit down. Can you see your younger sister? Can you see? And once you start doing that, you miss it in recovery. Damage control is what you start looking for. While you are not solving the problem itself, you are also creating some certain damages. So it calls for caution, it calls for care. It's a total package when we talk about recovery management. Either the guy was in drugs or not. You want to recover his identity. And then note that in recovery management, what we are looking for is the personality of that individual. Who is he in his good self? Who is he in his defined self? We want to get him back and track issues to his persona. Who is this guy originally? Before things began to go bad. That is what we are tracing, tracking, taming, as we trash out the oddities in his inside. So in global recovery management system, recovery is viewed as a journey rather than event. So when we send you to homes, to families, to care centers, and they say, okay, just come, don't come again, no, you will have to go again. It's a journey. It's not an event. It's not a one-stop shop. It's a continuum. So in recovery management, it is viewed as a journey rather than event. The central question is not only, has this person stopped using, but also, how is this person functioning, coping, relating, and deciding, and living. Those are the issues. Want to see the coping mechanism? Want to see the functionality? Want to see how he is relating with others? We want to see his power of determination. We want to see how he is living, not just being. We want to see him live. So very vital. Do we all understand what recovery is now? So it's not just getting the drugs out of the guy. It's not just getting the drugs and the substance abuse out of the guy. It is getting the guy also out of drugs and out of abuse. So it's a whole gamut. It's an event in the rehab center and in some of our platforms where we organize people, adults, children, and all that. We call it events. Ask a Lori there of the several events she has held and still holding. Those are events. But beyond the events, a recovery manager says, let me see the impact of this event in bringing you back to your original status, in framing and finessing you, if there's any grammar like that, to get you back to your originality, where I can start building on who you are, for what you have, and where you are going. This is recovery management, hook, line, and sinker. We need the events necessarily, but you see, when you are a recovery manager, your events becomes targeted, focused. Your critical milestones are hitting your objectives of what? Ultimate recovery. Where parents can thank you and say, ever since my son started attending your event, I see him aligning. I see him now speaking about his future. Every event you organize, recovery managers must show your client the future, where he's going. Beginning from the individual, he's futuring now. The future, where he's going, and the persona he's futuring. It's a bifocal event. In recovery management, every event, successful event, program for youth, program for adult, program in the rehab center, even programs at home, as you do family ecosystem governance, you must show your client and stakeholders the future of this guy, and then the persona of the guy futuring now. So it is both now and there. And in the corporate language, we call that vision and mission. So, recovery managers, congratulations. You help people, whether in drugs or out of drugs, to be able to decipher their vision statement and then their mission statement. Their vision statement, where they are now. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and work on their bad and ugly and leave the good there. Promote the good, and then where is going, so that you start building in cascade, systematically, and that is what is called global recovery management system. So now you want to ask me question 3. Dr. James, what's the difference between, okay, question 2, what's the difference between recovery and treatment? Are they the same? They are not the same. Treatment is a structured professional response to a clinical or behavioral problems. So recovery managers, can you now see how that you are a clinician, even when you don't wear the garment? You call some youth to talk to them, you are doing treatment. Treatment does not mean until you come under a place, the labor, hospital, psychiatry, mental home, or behavioral, these, even doctors are treatment deliverers. Pastors, what they do on Sunday is to treat. Jokes aside, they are all people. They are clinical. As long as you can identify a particular issue having to do with behavior, and you are giving a professional response to it, it is called treatment. It may involve medical care, psychotherapy, counseling, medication, behavioral intervention, education, and other therapeutic approaches. Even when you teach, you are treating, because people will be able to infer, to say, hey, okay, I'm doing this. This is the best way to do. This is what not to do. So you are all clinicians. Recovery is broader than treatment. Treatment may have a defined beginning and end, while recovery continues throughout a person's life. So recovery managers, this work you have come to accept is a lifetime job, is a lifetime work. Treatment asks, what intervention does this person need? We're going to begin from Abuja, Nigeria, Federal Capital Territory, where we'll cluster a particular demography like youth or teens, and sit down in a roundtable conference to say, what are the questions? What are the key-legs? What are the issues with teens? And then we'll now build a global solution under the GROMS hub to create intervention at once, so that you solve it in Abuja, you can take it to other states, you can take it to nations, you can secure buy-in in the African climate, and then you become a global advisor on that. So recovery managers, once you discover your fit, your target is the globe. As you handle a guy here, where are you targeting? The globe. That what you are doing will go global, because you are over a global mandate, and that the guy you are treating is also going global. So when everybody sees global and talk global and think global, we will not arrive at a global destination. So very vital. Recovery asks the question, how do we help this person sustain change and build functional life? Oh, the guy has changed. Praise God. Oh, the guy is good now. Their parents gave me testimonials. Praise God. But beyond that, how do we help him to continue? Therefore, treatment can initiate recovery, but treatment alone cannot manage everything that happens after treatment ends. GROMS exists to close that continuity gap. So recovery managers, congratulations. Who are you? Gap filler. Who are you? Vacuum discoverer. Who are you? Loophole blocker. Wow, you've gotten so many accolades to your name as a recovery manager. So question number 3, we are treating. What is the difference between recovery and rehabilitation? At the end of each class, I'll give you room to ask questions. So I won't say, do you understand? You have questions. Be keeping your question, because when you don't understand, you can't stand over. You will be under various stands and platform where you are going to work. So what's the difference between recovery and rehabilitation? Rehabilitation generally focuses on restoring or developing the person's capacity to function after impairment caused by substance use or another condition. Recovery managers, I want you to know that when we are talking about recovery management, it's not only about drugs. Deviant behaviors in things, negative usage of their adrenaline, puberty, misaligned and misunderstood, by teens. They need rehabilitation. So rehabilitation is not until you keep somebody in a controlled environment. You have a setup where you package people. You are a rehab. You are doing rehab work, rehab activity. It's more of the work rather than the place. So recovery managers, when we hear rehabilitation, it's not about putting somebody in incarceration and locking him behind closed doors until he recovers, though that is part of it. Every attempt you do that focuses on restoring or developing the person's capacity to function well after he has caused damage to himself is rehabilitation, whether inside the house, somewhere else, in an hotel, in a place, in an office. It's rehabilitation. It may address behavior, skills, relationship, psychological functioning, and social adjustment. These are all issues in rehab. So don't look at a stinking place where you keep people because they are vulnerable. Executives need rehabs. Families need rehab. Children need rehab. Recovery managers also need rehab. James Komolafe needs rehab in one area or the other. That doesn't mean I'm under lock and key somewhere. Recovery goes beyond rehabilitation because it emphasizes long-term self-management, continuous monitoring, resilience, purpose, social functioning, and sustained participation in life. Rehabilitation can prepare the person to return to life. Can you hear me? I say it again. Rehabilitation prepares the person to return to life. So meaning, coming out of rehabilitation center or place of program or rehabilitation event is not the same as life. It's deeper. That's why, as managers, we keep track of our events, of our functions, of our connection, even with parents over time. Very vital. Rehabilitation can prepare the person to return to life. Recovery management helps the person remain functional after returning to life. So where rehabilitation stops, recovery management takes off. In fact, during the process of rehab, recovery management is also checking through to say, hey, I hope there's no gap in these things, because if there's gap, consequently, it has to affect my work. And that's why we're saying from now henceforth, all rehab centers will not only book the client, but the parents of the client will also be booked, because they are triggers and they could constitute risk factors to these guys when they are finally out of the place. So when you gather people together to inform them, to educate them, you are rehabilitating them. You are saying there is a backdrop, there is a place you came from, get there, and from there, bloom very well. So you are doing rehabilitation program. Except that in our psyche here, once you mention rehab, people will plead the blood of Jesus. God forbid you say rehab. Oh, my boy just came out of rehab. Then people will shrug and shudder. What happened? Rehab? 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 Ah, it's well low. And there's that sense of jitters, because I need rehabilitation. Recovery manager, patients, you need rehabilitation. I hope you don't see it as an abuse.
No, sir.
Reverend, you need rehabilitation. James Komolafe needs rehab. Now, if I say this outside of this platform now, people's mentality towards me will change.
Yes,
They'll
so
say, what does he mean? How can he tell me I need rehab?
you don't demand.
It's you and your family that need rehab. You know, recovery managers, to tell the truth, it's just of recent that Africans and Nigerians are beginning to buy into mental health.
Doctor, may I ask a question?
Mental health. Pardon?
I said, may I ask a question?
You mentioned.
Should
Okay,
I ask
just
a
a
question?
minute, sir. Keep your question. We'll come to that after the class. Keep it. Once you say
I wanted to
mental,
add to what you are saying.
I reject. I'll give you room, sir. After each class, we'll throw room for question. People frown at anything mental health. Mental. There's nothing bad about spiritual. There's nothing bad about physical. There's nothing bad about emotional. Although people, once you say emotion, people want to see you as being on edge. But you say mental before now, 5-10 years ago. You say, not here, not here, please. Nobody is mental here. We're all mental beings that operates daily our mental life through our mental health, giving our mental equilibrium. Man is spirit, he possesses a soul and lives in the body. That's Bible. And I pray God that your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved. Psychosocially speaking and psychosomatically speaking and psychologically speaking and medically speaking, man is spirit. Man is mental. Man is emotional. And man is physical. The 4 quadrants of man. And that's why even the Lord Jesus Christ, it was said, and the child grew in wisdom, mental health, and stature, physical health, and was in favor with God, spiritual health, and man, emotional health. So, sir, mental health is cute. Emotional health is cute. Spiritual health is cute. Physical health is cute. These are the domains of a recovery manager. So you are not only managing the mind of your guy, of the parents, you are managing everybody inside out, outside in, hook, line, and sinker. So recovery versus rehabilitation. At times, they co-opt and work together. But most times, rehabilitation, recovery takes off completely when you are finished rehabilitation. So where is the role of recovery management in rehabilitation? It puts a puny eye to say, hey, I hope there's no gap because it will tell on my work later. I hope there's no vacuum. And I hope there is no loophole. Those are the things we are talking about. So, what are we saying? There's a world of difference there. Let's go on. I will have to be fast about it because we are combining yesterday's lesson to today's lesson. Now, question number 4. Before number 4, let me conclude on number 3. This distinction is critical. Discharge from rehabilitation should not automatically mean discharge from recovery support. In fact, your work just begins when there's a discharge. So, meaning, as somebody who is a recovery manager who has been doing events before, don't just say, wow, I have 5,000 things that showed up in my program, and then you go to rest. No, you've just started. You just treated. You need to follow up and set up follow-up frameworks to ensure that people go with this thing to apply it and get back to you in return. If you don't do that, then you are not a recovery manager. You are doing one-legged treatment. It's not complete. Oh, the program was hugely attended. People participated from all the walks of life. Great. So what happened afterwards? Are you able to track? You have an N, M, and E to trace, track, and to see compliance. Because in therapy, when you don't comply, you complain. And when you complain, it is because you are not complying. Do we take the complaints of people to heart? After the treatment, after the teaching, after the equipping, it's not enough to issue certificate of participation. We want to see progression in their lives. So where you can measure progression and you are issuing certification, it is a failure in recovery management. Because you can't track and trace and manage what is being taught and fed the people, the critical mass, to their future. Why the future with you now? So question 4, recovery versus detoxification. What's the difference? Detoxification is primarily concerned with safely managing withdrawal and helping the body move away from immediate effect of substance dependence. So detoxification is not the same as rehabilitation. In detoxification, you are saying, Kai, this guy has taken in some toxins due to bad behavior. You see, bad behavior is not only fueled by substance abuse, character abuse, moral abuse, family relationship abuse. So that's why you must broaden your mind as a recovery manager. Not to think because in this family nobody is doing drugs, so all the children are okay. It's a lie. There are several abuses that are not even drug related. If you have been an individual in the field, there are some that are worst case scenario than drugs. And that's why our work is so juicy. If you know it, I'm going to train those of you who will be willing after this course to become therapists so that you can enter into homes and families and write a report over every child and to say, sir, in this guy, there is 6 levels of abuse. They say, what? But they don't take drugs. You will see a lady and say, this one has 7 abuses. This one just 5. This one just 2. Nobody is talking about moral abuse until we see the end. Nobody is talking about emotional abuse until the child is committing suicide. Nobody is talking about mental abuse until they come down in some certain psychosocial illness that the height of it could be psychosis. Nobody is talking about that. We are all doing prayers, we are all doing packaging and talking about drugs alone. How about emotional abuse? How about physical abuse, verbal abuse, marital abuse, silence abuse, relational abuse? Who is handling that? Recovery managers. That's why I'm exposing all these green areas to you, so that later you can say, doctor, I want to specialize in relationship abuse as an expert. It's a green field nobody is handling. The best preachers are doing is to pray. And they attack demons for what demons are not even aware of. Behavioral issues, we turn them to prayer issues. Just pray. Your point of weakness. We call them point of weakness, and the devil smiles. Abuses. So who draws the line? Sorry, take water. Who draws the line between behavior and demonic manipulation? It's the work of recovery managers. We pray over what we are not even supposed to pray over. Somebody refused to work, and yet he's expecting miracle marriage, a miracle money. He has hand, he has certificate. He opens his phone and say, Father, miracle money. And then some leader says, raise your phone for miracle money. Your certificates are at home. Your mates are working. Any income. You raise your phone. That is abuse. Prayer abuse. Intimacy with God abuse. Who stops that? So, let's go on. One day I will expose you to 105 abuses around every human being. Then you will know that this drug abuse is just one tiny bit of it. And say, please train me on this area. It's a cash cow. It's a green field. So in detoxification can stabilize the body. But physical stabilization does not automatically produce behavioral or psychological recovery. Let me bring it down now to your level. When you detoxify a guy who has taken in drugs and it has released all the nicotines and all the bad substances into his body physiology, they begin to speak on his inside to him. It builds a new ecosystem inside that rewired his body chemistry and his mental chemistry. I hope we are listening. So in detoxification, what do? You confront that chemistry, an internal ecosystem, with some other drugs. We call it antipsychotic, detoxifier, mobilizer, mood modifiers, and all of that. You hear them in rehab. What are they trying to do? They are trying to reorganize their body frame, the body fluid, and the body functioning. Three things: the body frame, the frailty, the fluid, and the functioning. So as a therapist, as a coach for parents or teens, those are the 4 things you reorganize when you are doing treatment, either through education. Look at the frame of the guy. He came to you despondent and losing identity crisis, and is looking inferior to himself. The frame will be affected. The functionality will be affected. So very vital. So in detoxification, you take those things out of him. But does that mean he's out of them? No. You take them out of his body system. You detoxify. Detoxify means taking away toxins from a place it has accumulated because of accommodation. Negative accommodation leads to accumulation. So that body that is concentrated with drugs is purged, is washed away. But how about the mind that have absorbed the message content of drugs? Is still there. That's why in rehab center, they will do detoxification and then they will do behavioral therapy. Detoxification takes away some of those toxins from the brain, and the ones that are spilled in and the ones that have afflicted the body. And then they will now do behavioral therapy, especially CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, to readjust and realign the mental processes and prowesses of that guy so that he can start coordinating, cooperating in order to find a common ground for communal existence. Wow, I'm teaching you therapy. So those are the things that happen. So, and then see another wide market in the medical ecosystem. Doctors would treat, they would give drugs and all that, and then people get well. Now, what happens to the mind that has been affected? in 3 months sickness, in some perennial sickness. Nobody talks about that. So they discharge them to go home. And there's no room for follow-up, no recovery management. What concerns a medical doctor that has finished your treatment? In fact, you're not seeing him. It's like a win. And we're trying to change all of this through recovery management. So we have a green field to operate in recovery management. Or a pastor who finished preaching and preaches down the people and everybody shout hallelujah and go home. Is there any room for recovery management? No. He just said, believe God. You come back to ask questions, they say you don't have faith. And people carry burdens to church and go home with the same burden. Because if you go to a pastor, they'll say, after this heavy anointing, sister, you have no faith. Where's your faith? You don't have faith. Whether the man even heard the message or not is another keg of gunpowder. Maybe while he was in church, he was troubled. I told you of a night vigil I attended in 1987, where a man suddenly shouted 30 naira in the midst of a night vigil. Then we knew that man was in a market transacting. So let's go back. So very vital. A person can complete detoxification and still return to substance use if the underlying behavioral pattern, triggers, relationship, thinking patterns, emotional vulnerabilities, and environmental pressures remain unaddressed. So that's why we tell parents, come for psychoeducation. Don't just say, doctor, when is my boy coming back home? Abba! When is my boy coming back home? When is my boy coming back home? They are more interested in the boy coming back home, even when the home front is a trigger. Convoluted. The same thing that steers the boy to go into drug addiction are still there, and nobody is talking about that. That is your work as a recovery manager, to put the home front in place. Now, all those things that are coming for your event, do you know the backdrop, family backdrop they come out of? Do you know whether the parents are even against what you just taught now and have built an ecosystem to fight what you taught them and to create a negative enabling environment? You do not know. So these are all the things we look at in recovery management. So detoxification is often an early stage of recovery journey, not destination. So that you take a training and people enjoy it. Oh, praise God. But there's more to it. Point them to the future. You want them to future now and like manage the procedure. Then question number 5. Why people relapse after treatment? Why do people relapse? What are relapses? Relapse can occur because treatment may end while the person's recovery challenges continue. So what are relapse? You end the treatment and you say, go home for whatever reasons, either because you are fed up. Please go home, go and die. You've been in this hospital for 6 months. Our bed, nobody else can use it. Madam, they're charging you, but they won't tell you. I beg, go and recuperate at home. They look for fine languages. Whatever is the reason why you are going home, it is very key to know that that is not recovery. Relapse can occur because treatment may end while the person's recovery challenges continues. And that calls for a recovery manager to also supervise an individual's discharge. And we have created a global assessment to help stakeholders check this person you are sending away. Are you sending him away on a proper footing? Or is going home on a quarter leg and coming back again? And that's why we want to make a clear-cut difference between herbalism and recovery management. What is herbalism? It treats you now and expecting you to come back for another malady. In fact, if you don't come back, you see something wrong. That's herbalism. I hope your event is not herbal in nature. By strategy. Okay, let me show them this and then get the impact assessment to be able to show them this. I learned in a village. No, I watched it in one Mount Zion film. You know what happened? The herbalist was hungry, no food in a community. So what did they do? He blew sickness everywhere so that they will bring clients to him. You see, your event can become like that if care is not taken. That kind of mindset is very dangerous. Please don't do that. So, where do relapse? Why do they occur after treatment? Common contributing factors may include unresolved triggers. What are the triggers? Why is this boy misbehaving to his parents? What are the issues triggering him? It could even be the utterance of the dad. I say, John, I tell you, you won't matter in life. And ever since the dad said that 15 years ago, anytime John sees that, what resonates in him is, you won't matter in life. And the father will keep buying all kinds of niceties of life for John and say, John, you are my boy. You are the best of my son. All that John is hearing in his psychomotor frameworks is you won't matter in life. I'm sorry to speak about women now. Have you hurt your woman before? Then he will go back to 1948, 4 p.m. around with 2 people, including one of his friends wearing white dress that day, and tell you what happened 1952. And you will say, just one event. That is accumulation that could be very dangerous. So triggers are life. Emotional instability can cause it, can cause relapse. Triggers. What are triggers? You know a gun now. Where do you fire a gun? From the trigger point. Whatever will release injury as to causing damage that will make you to want to opt to go back to where you came out of is called trigger. It sets you on a negative course. It has a stimulating effect for you to do it wrong again. They are triggers. Environments, family ecosystems, places can be triggers. Poor coping skills. So, well, just go home. God will help you. You've been here for 3 months. God is going with you. Be of good courage. Does it look professional? No. Does it look spiritual? 101%. Beyond saying that motivation, you must go deep down to create some certain structures and measure so that God can be with him. But to just fold the hand and say, God will be with me, hunger is an advanced course. Hunger 805. So, very vital. And then unrealistic expectation. Family conflict. Do you know some guys are even afraid of leaving rehab centers because they are saying, oh, I'm going back to that family again. I wish I don't go back to that home. I wish it's not that family. Inadequate follow-up, social isolation, unemployment. So I'm going back home to face reality of my unemployment situation. And it was that unemployment that led me to taking drugs because I was tired, fed up. Inadequate follow-up, social isolation, unrealistic expectation, and then overconfidence. I see some of them in rehab. They say, doctor, I will never, ever do drugs again. If you don't check some other variable and you release them, you're on your own. In fact, they will take drugs to welcome themselves back home. So, very vital. Overconfidence, we call it. And what is overconfidence? You just being sure you won't go into it, even while avoiding things that will make you not to go into it. Things you need to do, not to go into it, you don't do it. You are just confident and say, I'm strong now. I'm strong now. Relapse can happen 1 minute after discharge if there's no structure in place. You can take some children something now, and in 10 minutes after leaving you, they will repeat the same thing in the opposite dimension. So, failure to recognize early warning signs can also cause relapse. There are 25 gateways to relapse. Those of you who are interested in reading, please ask from me. I will give it to you. Recovery management seeks to identify risk early enough to intervene before crisis becomes a relapse. So it is first a crisis before what? A relapse. Now, what is crisis management before relapse? It involves 3 cascades. The first one is called a thesis. What is thesis? Some of us went to school. What did you write when you were coming out to graduate? It is called thesis, a summary. To say, here is where I am summarizing this whole episode. It is a thesis, a statement of fact, congealing everything you've done is a thesis. Now, in crisis management, there will be an antithesis fighting your thesis. So they come out of the rehab with a thesis. Is it thesis or thesis? Whichever one. Mute? America and Britain. So you come out with a thesis, going home to face what? An antithesis. A confrontation saying, Abba, John, home na home. I bet forget them at the rehab. They don't do their home. Welcome back home. We still they wait for you. So who addresses that? And then the crisis point now depends on the tilt of John's emotion, either for the positive or what? For the negative. When it is positive, it becomes a synthesis that transforms his life. When it is negative, it becomes what? A relapse that complicates his life again. So we must help them manage crisis. Through the thesis, we understand. Anybody coming for your program, for your event, know that they are coming in with a thesis. And all you are doing is to confront the thesis through an antithesis, either the good part or the bad part, so that they'll eventually leave you with what? A new formulation called what? A synthesis. One day I will teach us on crisis management, how to handle crisis, and the crisis you don't handle well will lead to what? A debacle. And when that debacle happens in somebody who is in recovery, it is called a relapse. So that is what I want you to understand. Question number 6. Recovery as a continuum. Recovery should be understood as a continuum because people do not move from illness to perfect stability in one step. No, there's no one-size-fits-all. There's no rocket science anywhere when it comes to recovery management. They may experience progress, vulnerability, setback, adjustment, and renewed progress. The continuums allow professionals to recognize different levels of recovery need rather than treating every person as either recovered or not recovered. Human beings are different. What is good for the goose may not be good for the gander when it comes to recovery management. And said that I offered this to that boy and it's well. I offered that to this lady and it's well. Why is your own case different? Recovery manager, that is quackery. Don't do quackery. There's no one size fits it all in psychotherapy. So as managers of human lives, each case comes to you with its own merit and what? Demerit that you need to understand, appreciate, and then engage. When you don't understand and appreciate, your engagement principle will be fraught with some certain challenges. So continuity is the word when it comes to recovery management. A person may require intensive support immediately after discharge, less intensive monitoring later, and renewed support when the new risk emerge. That's why even in therapy, in rehab, when they discharge people, they will ask the person, come every week, come every week. Later, when they see things are subpedally, they'll say, make it twice in a month. Later, they can say monthly. Later, they'll say, just go on. You are okay now. There's no, the boy is out. Doctor, after 18 months in rehab, you are saying this boy should still come. To come and do what again? People even give testimony that their boy is okay. He's back home. It can happen for the prodigal son, but not for somebody out of rehab. Very vital. Very vital. So global recovery management system therefore follows the person's changing recovery need instead of assuming that one intervention fixes every stage. No. No matter how perfect the intervention is, it's just one out of many events. It's just one out of many cases. So, very vital. Make sure you do the needful and follow through as the case may be. So, and that's a warning to all recovery managers. You can have your curriculum to say, I'm following this, and meet a different case scenario on ground. Please, in that situation, learn to tilt. We call it tweaking. Learn to tweak and adjust to the reality on ground. Otherwise, you will finish your curriculum or your curriculum will not curriculumize your client. The essence of curriculum, where you are just bent on finishing the curriculum, quick. There will be no construction. And when there's no construction, there will be complicity. So let's be careful with that. Then question number 7. What is the need for recovery management? Why recovery management is needed? Recovery management is needed because the end of formal treatment does not mean the end of recovery risk. There are risks in everything. Even in detox, there are risks. So that's not the end. Recovery risk avails. Even right from the booking desk in the therapy place, in the rehab place, it can be a risk to recovery. Because it can create a psyche in the mind of that guy to say, see the poor place they brought me. How will I cope for the next 2 months in this place? And parents who don't have money goes to a public place where they put all kinds of people together in one spot. So those are triggers that could constitute to that guy's recovery. So why is recovery management needed? The person returns to the same family, community, workplace, and social environment, and personal circumstances that may not have contributed to the original problem. Can you see? They go in to meet another family ecosystem. They go in to meet what they hated. So recovery is needed. Without structured continuity, important information can be lost between admission, treatment, discharge, and life after discharge. So parents, it's not just about having your boy back. your girl back because you have missed him. And then when she comes back, you give him a car key and say, Pele, sorry, we put you through this. Quackery. You enable the boy into bad behavior. And before you know it, it's wreck in dream in his behavior. And then you start going for prayers. And you call recovery, rehabilitation, a hoax because your boy still came back. You see, I've seen in the field of practice where parents are shocked that, how can, doctor, can you tell me? This boy spent 6 months in the rehab. Just 2 days, he went back. What a demo is this? It may not be demonic, it could be humanic. That's why we are training recovery managers to look into every issue, into every case, and understand the gaps, the loophole, and what? The vacuums, and block them ab initio. When they are not blocked, I'm sorry, recovery will have some certain leakages there, and the boy comes out so empty, and you wonder what you paid money for in the rehab for 6 months, the millions, or whatever the denomination or for money there. So recovery management provides a bridge between the institution and the person's real environment, which are not the same. There are 3 or 4 ecosystems in recovery management. One, the ecosystem of the rehab center, where the guy is. 2, the ecosystem inside the guy himself. 3, the ecosystem of the family where he's going or where he came out from. And then 4, the societal ecosystem. So how you are able to engage the guy and manage these 4 ecosystems matters a huge lot to a recovery manager. You want to know the 4 ecosystems you are interacting and interfacing with. Either your client came out of drug addiction or just behavioral addiction. They are not the same. 1, the ecosystem of your own place. What you can see, what you can relate to, and your own persona as a clinician. The ecosystem he came with from home, and the ecosystem inside him as a persona, and the ecosystem of society, especially through his peers. So how do you tell me you are packaging things when you don't know the things inside their ecosystem? You'll be doing work on the periphery. You can have all the numbers, but the integer will be lost. So every recovery manager works with 4 ecosystems inside one guy. So very vital. You are doing treatment. You are helping somebody to understand something. Ecosystem can even repaint your message in another way that he least expect, that you least expect. And you say, what? Despite what I taught you, will say, sorry, this is the way I understood it. That's why psychometry is very vital. You teach the people and also test them to see where they are in what you have just taught now. Don't just inform and ask people to go. Don't do information isolatedly. Do intervention by providing the information and then having a kit to test the people head, neck up, so that they can be good neck down in order to be great leg forward. So have an evaluation metrics by which you engage with the people after teaching them, so that you can turn information toward intervention. Now, what's the gap between information? Speak over their head. You speak to them. You talk to them what it should be. Or what about intervention? You provide a basis by which what you taught can be examined on the spot, so as to identify with the GLV mantra the gap, the loophole, and the vacuum Why are you observing that? So that you can fix it. That's when you do intervention. So training and equipping people and giving them certificate for participation is an aberration in behavioral therapy. Certificate of participation. This is to show that this boy, a teenager, participated in our youth program and therefore awarded this certificate. Hogwash.
Okay.
So very vital. Please stop offering certificate of participation that lacks the ingredient of intervention. You are complicating matters for them in recovery management because some of those certifications can become a validity for relapse. Because you say, I have my certificate here. What are you telling me? That's why we're so careful not to offer certification anyhow. We want to be able to see whether you have an authentic basis to getting the certificate in the first instance. So, question number 8. Recovery manager as a new professional function. Now, some of the things I'm saying now are new, and we don't see them happening. I hope you are not doubting whether it can work. It works. And that's why some of us veer into it as a study and as a discipline and as a life. You know, anything new you are hearing for the first time looks weird. I remember the day we were taught physics. Isaac Newton's law, gravity. The guy threw up the stone and said anything you throw up will come down. And say he will calculate it for us. We're all weird. So, and that's why I insist that you get the books, you get your note in place and all of that. So, recovery manager as a new professional function. The recovery manager is responsible for helping maintain continuity across the person's recovery journey. So when you are helping an individual in the journey of recovery in life, now what are we recovering from? Let me tell you the gospel truth. You are recovering an individual not because he has an ailment. You are recovering an individual in order to align him with his original persona. That's the first thing every recovery manager must understand. You are not doing recovery because the individual has a problem. You are doing it because you are saying he has an identity, I must fan a flame. Whether it's in the good, definition, bad, violation, or ugly deviation. So recovery managers, settle this in your mind, that you are not just problem solver, you are prospect creators. You are the one who fans a flame, what people carry on their inside and they are not even aware of. You say, no, thank God. We don't need your service here. We are all well. Nah, lie. Because you see parents with their idiosyncrasies who will tell you your work is not needed. You tell, what do you want? All my children are okay. You say you are talking about addiction. No, don't expose them. I beg. Leave addiction out of the matter. And then you must be wise to know how to package your event. Otherwise, the very people you are doing it for will reject you. He came to his own, and his own receive him not. So very vital. The recovery manager does not replace the doctor. I say it again, like I said yesterday. Does not replace the psychologist, the counselor, the social worker, nurse, or other specialist. Instead, the function connects relevant interventions around the person's continuing recovery needs. We are invigilators. We supervise. We say, doctor, please do your work. Nurse, do your work. But just ensure that you do it to perfection, no gap, no loophole, because it will trace back to your table as a recovery manager. So the recovery manager tracks the person's progress, identifies energy, emerging risk, coordinate appropriate support, monitors recovery indicators. I'll take this again. Facilitates communication with relevant stakeholders and supports integration. The crux of the matter, as I went up on this module, is that every recovery manager tracks the person's progress. We are sorting his prospect, we're looking at his problems, and we're also creating a possibility for him. 3 P's. Who is his persona? What are his prospects? What are the problems? And what are the possibilities you are creating for this guy? You are helping to identify emerging risk. What are the risks associated around his life? Associated risk factors. Then you help him to coordinate appropriate supports that he can gather. Help him to coordinate it. Or his parents, his brother, his uncle, and all of that. Support for school, support for emotional stability, support, you buy books, John Maxwell and the rest, you develop him and all of that. He needs to be able to coordinate all these things together to avert the relapses. And when they are too much on him, it can worry him. And what you are trying to forestall will be what he will also find himself inside. So very critical. On a final note on that, the professional question changes from who treated this client to who is responsible for tracking the recovery journey after treatment. And then don't behave like some governments who in their second term will still be blaming the previous government. No, recovery managers don't do that. Don't say, well, I inherit this client. I don't know which rehab center he came out of. No, please don't say that. That's why you are a recovery manager. You manage recovery. And in management, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly to work with and to walk through and wade through in order to win at the end of the day. So, what is the practical exercise I want to deliver here? Map a hypothetical client's journey from admission to 1 year after discharge. Wow, that's recovery par excellence. Participants should create a recovery journey showing what happens at each major stage from admission to assessment to detoxification, stroke stabilization, intervention, rehabilitation, discharge preparation, transition home, follow-up, reintegration, 1 year recovery monitoring. What do? At every stage, participants should identify the client's need, risk, intervention, responsible professionals, recovery indicators, and possible relapse warning sign. This objective is to demonstrate that recovery does not end at the rehab's facility gate. To say, thank God, I'm out of this place. Never will I come in here. Even the therapy they say I should be coming from, they are on their own. And parents will say, Omo, thank God you are out too. You are back home. We are start resting. Where do you want to go? Dubai? You want to go and lodge in a hotel to just cool off, eat and drink anything. As if rehab facility is a penitentiary, is a prison, and all of that. So we have job to do to deface this in parents and to help them see what the real situation is. So this is the course number 1. Your assignment, map out a hypothetical client's journey from admission to 1 year after discharge. And you see, you earn through all these stages as a recovery manager. And it's not a competitive market. is a monopoly market. When nobody knows it, nobody can fix it. And some of you, what you are supposed to do for a fee, you are doing it for free. Well, your reward is waiting for you in heaven if you get there. But because you don't have platform, you are not professionally packaged to manage, you attempt to package others, cause damage for yourself, and run into crisis. We'll also be handling this subsequently. So this is first course, ladies and gentlemen, and congratulations, you made it. Please clap for yourself. We might have to stop here today because of questions and take the other class in the next session. This is the first session we're supposed to hold yesterday, but yesterday was introduction. So we needed that. So question. So the first question we'll like to ask. Okay, Dr. Ekaite says, Doctor, please, I hope the training slides will be available for us. You go to YouTube channel. I won't want to give the training slide because it will make us lazy. But you can go to the YouTube channel and listen and take your notes. If I give you slide, you can just be talking and say, wow, this thing is rich. This thing is rich. That's how you will say this thing is rich. While you mind your own business and you say, I can always go back to it and answer questions. So, office, GRMS office won't be giving our slide again. We give the YouTube, let people go and listen. Before you jump, you won't know where the answer you are looking for is. Thank you very much.
Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor, is like we are more mature this time than the class that you took. I want to believe that at the end of the whole course, we may.
Yes, sir.
Yes, at the end of the course, we need that slide. It will help us and while we are in the field by God's grace. Another question I wanted to ask is this mental, recovery management course sounds as if it is just new, just coming from the space, or has it been existing? Yes, has it been existing maybe in other countries and in Nigeria? Is it new or it has just been there?
Okay, that's question one. Two in one.
That's my question.
Yes, other question. Thank you very much, Reverend. Jennifer. Recovery manager Abimbola. Recovery manager Mute Olori. Recovery manager Akoni Oladipupo. Any question in-house? Recovery manager Stella Okoribo. Any question? Recovery manager Nwoke Ifeoma. Recovery manager Shola Aduloju. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My network went off when you were talking about the detoxification and the rehabilitation.
Okay, madam. You will have to go back to the YouTube, James Komolafe, and listen.
Okay, sir.
They are not the same. Rehabilitation is all that you do. Okay, I'm now jumping to answer your question. When a reverend asks me question first, yes, I will handle it. The difference between rehabilitation and detoxification and the nexus connecting them in the gamut of recovery management. We'll talk about that. Any other question? Jennifer? Okay, Jennifer is not here. So let's answer the two questions and then we can call it a day. Tomorrow is another day. And like I said, if you are in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, it's better you come to the very platform and take it raw and direct. But in case you are so busy, you can't make it, then you can participate online the way you're doing now, because there's always a spirit behind every training. Now, Dr. Israel Kaite, the man of God, said, this looks like a new discipline. Sir, it's not new. We were not only exposed to it. That's the issue. Recovery management started from the day therapy started. But because nobody talks about it here, people felt, want to look for the head first before you look for some other issues. Let's see. Just like mental health. It's just now people are talking mental health. My mental health is affecting my mental health, even when they don't know what mental health means. You can see the Gen Zs and the millennials, before they say something, they say, it's just affecting my mental health. They really know what mental health is, and as if it is always in the audit. So recovery management is a career. It's a professional job and work you take on, and it exists everywhere. Even as a reverend gentleman, what you do in church and out of church, sir, is recovery management. When you fire the scriptures and say, we must go back to how God said it, that's recovery management. If I have chance in your church, I will raise hand and say, Reverend, you are teaching us a course in recovery management 105. So your attitude to restore, to bring back to the former place, either out of drugs or inside drugs or around whatever specimen and place, you are doing recovery management. So I will advise you to go to my YouTube channel, watch over and over, make your own notes, and then this thing will sink in. Then two, as per giving you the slide, so many things I have said that you won't find in the slide. In fact, the slide I have here are just 3. Look at it. There are 4. See my slide number 1. That is it. Just the stuff itself, the invite. See my slide number 2. Just the module, the session for today. And my slide number 3. Look at it. The session that we were supposed to have held today, substance use, harmful deeds, and all that, and then look at it. So, sir, you say, if I give you these 4 slides, you are okay? You won't be okay. So that's why you need to go through the YouTube, take your own lesson at your time, do some writing, and keep your note. It sinks deep into you. You do what we call translation and transliteration in your own order, by which you can convert some certain things and make them personal. Knowledge becomes learning on a faster note when you are able to write based on the understanding you have. So the slides are just small. It won't do any good here. But the video gives you everything I have said. Thank you very much.
And 2,
Any question here?
you've not shown me how to be keeping
Recovery management. Recovery manager, Patience, any question?
After I'll be using it on you.
Not for now. I'll go over again. Maybe during the next lecture, I'll have a question.
Okay, thank you so very much. So we'd like
Thank
to
you.
call it a day
Is
here.
there
And
anyone
then,
that
does
how much
anybody
you
have any impression? Reverend, can you mute your set? Does anybody have a question? Okay, question, an impression, a contribution, online, offline, to make? Anybody? Okay, I'd like to thank you very much, everyone. Tomorrow is another day, and we'll be very circumspect over tomorrow, and we'll take it from 10 to 12 by the grace of God. And it another day. Thank you very much and enjoy the recovery journey. God bless you and bye-bye.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much. We are very grateful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow in
Thank you,
class.
sir. Thank you, sir.